So tonight I'm doing a little bit of testing of this quick fix from Anthony Spiteri. So what happened here is this. Looking at the controller for my AHCI, which is the SATA ports on my motherboard, we'll very quickly notice. So head on over to storage. Let's try that again. Head on over to storage, go to adapters, and there's only one listed. So that's a problem. There's supposed to be multiple listed, but more important, data storage on those, any drives attached to that are poor performing, is what this article is basically saying. But good news, there's a fix. And I'm in the middle of testing it right now in front of you. So here we go. Gets into exactly what's needed and basically a command we're going to type at a command line. All right, heading on back over here under data stores. Do I have an SSD attached to SATA? Apparently right now I don't. And by the way, NVMe performs fine, or Samsung anyway. The default driver in in ESXi 6.5 works fine. And I tested a VM, a Windows 10 VM. Speed was excellent. So really this video is about SATA drives attached to one of the 6 SATA ports in the motherboard. My drive doesn't show. All right, let's have a look. Samsung 850 is there. It sees it. And we're in the HTML5 interface. Let's see if it actually works. It did work for that. That's cool. So clear the partition tables, and now I'm able to proceed. Something like that. But make sure I use VMFS 6 and hit next. All right, it warns me it's going to format it. It should finish pretty fast. I don't know why VMFS is lowercase. Sorry, it bothers me, all right? Okay, it's been a long day. All right, so we're good. We've got ourselves, it's full despite that large chunk. It's actually a very tiny chunk. So we're good. So now if I go to storage, data stores, there's our list of data stores. So what are our options? Well, if I start up VCSA appliance, I could actually move to it. Notice the photon UI there. Pretty cool. All right. Why do I mention that? Well, instead of building out a Windows 10 in here, why don't I just vMotion, right? And which VM would I do that with? Well, let's look at our list of VMs. So here's our list of VMs, right? And I've got a test VM. Power that thing on. We'll have a look at the performance on NVMe storage, and then we'll have a look at the performance on SATA-based storage before I mess with this driver. That's going to take a little while. So I'm probably going to go ahead and zoom ahead to when all that's set up for you, so that we can focus on the fix, not so much the benchmarking. So again, I have this test VM. It's going to run something like ATTO diskbench to show the performance of the drive, of the VM when it's hosted on an NVMe drive, unaffected by this bug with the AHCI driver. Then, once I've done that baseline, I'm going to vMotion it over to the slow SATA3 data store, and then run the same benchmark again. And probably better or smarter than a vMotion would be a straight clone. But you can't do that stuff without VCSA, appliance, importing, and making a little, one node cluster basically. So yeah, I'll be right back when I get all that set up. VCSA appliance with the ESXi host added, and 2 copies of identical Windows 10 ready for disk speed tests. Okay, well, I cloned the same Windows 10. I put one on NVMe storage and another on SATA3 storage. And here you go. I've got the Samsung 950 Pro on the left, Samsung 850 EVO on the right. These speeds are pretty normal. So at the moment, I'm actually having trouble replicating what Anthony Spiteri experienced here. So I'm going to go through the article, talk to him a little bit, but yeah, interesting. So this is still a work in progress. More to be done here. But let me show you those settings to kind of convince you a little more. So if we go to Manage, Virtual Machine Settings, you can see that they are configured identically, the two VMs, because, yeah, they're just clones of one another. But the part that matters here is the drive it's sitting on, and, whoops. Kind of annoying. Okay. Samsung and NVMe Samsung. So we've got things configured, right? If we look over here, remember on storage, we had the okay, that session logged off. Bear with me. Takes a little while to recover, I found, by the way, for that. So let's speed it up and just strip off that and get right back in. Here we go. But basically, I was going to show you the data stores and the devices that are backing them to make sure it's convincing. So here's the NVMe, for instance. I'm not sure what light blue means, but and there's a device, 950. Back arrow here in the Samsung 850 backing device is right there, Samsung 850 and the product identifier. So things look square. I don't think I made any mistakes. I only have two straws in there. It'd be kind of hard to pick the wrong one. So now it's got me chin scratching a little bit on what's different about my config. I will point out that I'm at BIOS 1.1 and IPMI 3.46. So just putting that out there, not saying it's relevant, but the reason I bring it up is someone had slow NVMe performance before they went to 1.1. But today, the topic at hand really is this potential issue. So I'm going to pause here, do a little more research or regroup, and see what I'm going to do next. Stay tuned. Okay, well, I moved the two SSDs over, and the 32 gig USB flash drive that's holding ESXi, and simply, DHCP, but the host. So it's just a different server. So you look at everything here and it looks the same as where I left off in the last video, but I've moved over from a 12-core ZND 1567 to a 8-core ZND 1541. Same exact results as expected. The VMs themselves, by the way, are each 4-core, and I think it was, let's see. Okay, 2 vCPUs. But anyhow, that's it. I don't know. So I haven't been able to replicate the findings yet. Going back to this article, I did do an update acknowledging that some people might run into this. And I put the screenshot so people can see that so far I haven't been able to replicate the problem. Okay, well, that's about it for tonight. I will have to circle back and see what's really going on here at a later time. Thanks for watching, and thanks for visiting tinkertry.com.